Morgan Gibbs-White speaking to our England correspondent, Fake, or others there. Straight off the back of that, Flex, just got me thinking, I want you to rank, providing that, let's say in a hypothetical world, they're all fit, I want you to rank based on form and who you'd sort of, your pecking order of England number 10s, Gibbs-White, Foden, Rodgers, Palmer.
On form, that's the key part. On form, Foden is bottom.
There we go.
This is how it is on form. He's been nowhere near the level that we expect him to be, the level that he can play to, and has not displayed anything like what we saw last year. Bottom. Cole Palmer started off really well this year, and in the second half, really struggled.
He's not scored. I think he hasn't scored. I don't think. Has he scored? I might be wrong, but since 2025, or has he?
Has he not scored this year? That could be. Do you know what?
It's been a while.
It's been a while, and his foot. Maresca's been talking about. He's been posting up. I'll be back soon. Missing pens. It's not hasn't been working. Yeah, and then he's got injured, so he's second bottom. This is on form. Got to keep it real here. On form now between Rodgers and Gibbs-White.
I'm not going to bite you. You're looking at me as
no. I have to really think about this. Gibbs-White. His team's third in the Prem.
In the Prem, Morgan Gibbs-White's
got 5 and 7.
5 goals, 7. Rodgers, 10 goals, 5 assists.
But that's what I mean about, you see the attacking side of that, it'll give you that sprinkle. But he's been playing in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And playing really well.
And he's been pulling up trees in the Champions League.
And he's come from the Championship. I'm going to go Morgan Rodgers 1, Gibbs-White 2nd.
Okay, I'm backing my man Morgan Gibbs-White. I just think, and I look, if Morgan Rodgers starts, totally understand what a wonderful player, incredibly exciting, not just a prospect anymore, just incredibly exciting for England moving forward into that sort of next generation of talent. What a player. But for me, when you've got someone like Jude Bellingham who can play in that number 10 and will often sort of vacate those empty spaces in and around the striker, you can afford to do that because Morgan Gibbs-White can play in next to Declan.
He can play deeper,
he can play
as
an out-and-out centre midfielder.
He can.
And he's an amazing tackler. He's an amazing presser. And he's just, energy levels are incredible. So for me, that's why Morgan Gibbs-White would be my number 10. But I understand the Rodgers thing.
See, and that's why it's so important. And this is why we don't know how Thomas Tuchel sees this team playing, because that what you literally just said there is what I agree with in terms of what Gibbs-White gives you that Rodgers can't. But if he sees it as, I have Bellingham and he is going to be a bit further back next to Rice as my security, and Bellingham can pick his options and stuff, then I'm just going to let Rodgers float there as that floater just around the box and on the half turn as well, which, listen, White's great at that as well. Yeah. Drawing fouls, running at goal, arriving late. But I think Rodgers does that bit of the game a little bit better than White.
He's been sensational.
He has.
Another one that we've not spoken about yet, Flex, is the omission of Callum Hudson-Odoi. And from my perspective as a Forest fan, framing that compared to the inclusion of Marcus Rashford, who has started one Premier League game and then I think he started one Premier League game. He's played 9 games for Villa. He's had a couple of assists. He hasn't scored. Marcus Rashford has a great record for England, and I think he can be really impactful off the bench. However, I think it's outrageous how quickly the Marcus Rashford narrative has changed off the back of a couple of half-decent performances for Villa. Whoa. I've watched him really carefully, Flex. Yeah. He's not been a world beater. He's joined a really good football team, and he's helped them a little bit. But this idea that
he's unplayable right
all
now.
Of a sudden he's in the England squad, when Callum Hudson-Odoi, by the way, has been absolutely magic. And the thing about Callum Hudson-Odoi is he rarely loses the ball. He's a bit like Jack Grealish in that the ball sticks to his feet. He wins so many fouls. He scores some absolute pearlers, right, on the edge of the box.
He's got that one on lock where he cuts in, and that's like a Hudson-Odoi special.
Defenders know he's going to do it, but they
can't stop it. Yeah.
And I just, for me, again, I feel like, obviously as a Forest fan, to our listeners, look, I know I'm a little bit...
This is sounding very biased here, Max.
I know you're going to be. But
you've got a point.
I'm informed because I watch him week in, week out. And I just think, I think it's insulting. I think it's insulting to the talent of Hudson-Odoi and to meritocracy in and of itself, because this idea that Rashford is all of a sudden now a world beater, do me a favour.
No, it goes that Rashford scored 7 goals and got 7 assists this season, which is more than Hudson-Odoi, and he's been inactive from December through to January. So if you're looking at it just on numbers, he's got 7 and 7.
But it's not just a numbers game.
I get that. It's
saying,
not.
Well,
it's not.
Let's have a look at his XG in the, from 75 minutes to 90 minutes.
Yeah, I get that. I'm just giving the other side here.
Yeah, no, I understand.
He's got 7 goals, 7 assists, and Hudson-Odoi's played all the games, every minute of every game, pretty much.
He has
actually got injured. He got a bit injured actually, but he's played a lot more than Marcus Rashford, and that's his return. But his team's third in the league.
Even current form.
Current form, because Rashford's not even starting all the games. I get that.
And Rashford scored those goals. Let's be honest, all at the start of the season.
At the start of the season, scored a couple of and then never played again.
Off a cliff, and there's been a slight improvement. So I think if you're talking recent form, and if then Hudson-Odoi is a no-brainer.
Well, this is where Thomas Tuchel is coming from, and this is where you talk about the meritocracy of it is gone. Because no disrespect to Hudson-Odoi, this is literally the name brand player getting the football, and the guy who, of course, has done a lot for England before and has been in and around it and is the brand and is Marcus Rashford. But also, I think Thomas Tuchel will be looking at it going, if I get the best version of Marcus Rashford, who he knows a lot more just because it's Marcus Rashford, if I get the best version of Marcus Rashford versus the best version of Hudson-Odoi, is he thinking that he'd prefer to have Rashford because the best version of him is better than Hudson-Odoi?
Perhaps. Well, I mean, it must be that.
Because I think that's probably the way he goes. But I agree with you though.
Hudson-Odoi won the Champions League with Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, but wasn't the...
Wait, was it Tuchel? I might be way out there. He's definitely won the Champions League.
It was Tuchel, yeah.
Just had that inner sort of...
But he wasn't the main...
the comments saying what you're on about.
No. But he wasn't the main guy. He wasn't the main guy. That's why. It was more of a... what's his name? Rhian Brewster vibe. Yeah. It was that sort of go to the barbershop with the trophy. With the thing.
The reason I'm saying that is because Tuchel does know about Hudson-Odoi, so that surprised me a little bit.
But he done it to Gallagher, I think, and that's what I mean. So I see why people look at the England squad and there's some certain names. There's always, and it shouldn't be like that. Depends if we get a manager one day who literally goes, I couldn't give a crap what you've done before, what your numbers were before, what you've won in your career. Yeah. I'm doing it off of this meritocracy right now. Until someone does that and proves it, there's always going to be...
politics.
Always.
Yeah.
Reece James has been out for ages.
I know.
Reece James, he's been playing centre midfield.
I've got bigger hamstrings than Reece James right now.
But he won the Champions... That's his guy. I'm surprised...
Henderson.
No, left back. But in Chilwell, I'm surprised he didn't find a way. Palace has been reborn. Let's get him in. We haven't got any left backs, so he stopped the buck there, luckily. But there's always going to be. It doesn't matter what manager. When we was under Southgate, it was he's always picking Maguire. Doesn't matter if he's always picking Henderson. There's always a few, and I just think Marcus Rashford, the story around him. Because I agree with you. Think of it from my point of view as a United fan, where United's the problem. It's all this, it's all that. As soon as I see him go there and decide to run around, playing a good team. It's like he's amazing. No, I've not seen him do anything different than when he was in a good mood at Man United.
Look, we hope Marcus Rashford does incredibly well because...
And he will, because he's confident.
Because we want the best for our country, but we also want the best for Marcus Rashford because what a fabulous player we know he can be. But we're just not sure if it was the right thing.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.